Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Erin and I am a professional yapper, or I guess subpar yapper, and I really like reading. So I figured why not start off with a book talk ranking, because all of my friends and family or whatever, they don't really read, and I read a lot. I'm talking like 1 to 2 days to finish a book. So I figured if I post it on here, someone can resonate with me and I'm not just sitting here in silence because I have no one to talk to about these books. So let's do a book talk ranking video. I have this tier list thing that everyone seems to use, and I have about 50-ish books. I'm not going to talk about each single one. Some of them are series. Let's get to ranking. Okay, so let's start off with my tiers. So let's start with my tiers. My 5 stars is Eat, Pray, Love That Shit, Silent Screaming at 4 a.m. Typically, if I'm reading a book and I can't put it down to the point where I read until morning, that is considered a 5-star to me. And if it makes me kick and scream, you know, like all that good stuff. So a 4-star would be 10 out of 10 would recommend. 3 would be it was just okay. 2 is I see the vision, but like I need glasses, nar. 1 star would be if I could time travel and remove this book from my TBR, I would. And then I also have a TBR and a not a chance column. But yeah, let's start with the first book. It's Twisted Love. I haven't actually read this book. I've been meaning to. It's been on my Kobo for so long. So I'm gonna put this in TBR. Next book is The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. I read this recently, I want to say last month. It was pretty good. It was about this girl and her getting, I think her name's Eden, getting sexually harassed, and how she dealt with it, and like how all her relationships kind of changed because of that. And I actually really liked this book. I don't hear many people talk about it, but honestly, it was really good. So I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10 would recommend, I think is what I did for that one. So the next book is by Dolly Alderton, Everything I Know About Love. I read this recently as well, this month I think, or beginning of this month, and it was pretty good. I really liked the little quotes and stuff that I annotated out of it, but honestly, like, it did have a bunch of chapters with like recipes and stuff that I was just kind of like, why? So for that, I'm gonna give it a 3. Yeah, just know it was really good, and like it did have really good lessons and stuff in it. It's just, it takes a lot for me to give a 4 or 5 stars. So the next book is, or I guess series, would be The Dreamland Billionaires by Lauren Asher. I never finished this series, I'm gonna be honest. I only read the first 2. So Final Offer is getting not a chance. And Terms and Conditions I actually liked better than the first one. I would say that's 10 out of 10 would recommend. I think her name's Ivy, and her relationship with the second brother, it was pretty good. And The Fine Print, it was just okay. At first when I read it, I was like, wow, I'm really obsessed with this. But now looking back, I've been obsessed with books way more than that book, so yeah, that's where I'm putting those. Icebreaker, I actually didn't finish this book. I've been meaning to. I think I got through like half of it and it was okay. I might actually end up finishing it, who knows. So I'm gonna put it in I See the Vision, but I need glasses because I never actually finished it, or first round. Okay, so I just fixed the rankings on my iPad. It took me a little bit. Had to do it off camera because my iPad is not having fun right now. Okay, so the next book is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this before the show came out, and honestly, I kind of wish I did the audiobook. Everyone says the audiobook is better just because of the way the book's written, but I actually really like this book. I'm gonna put it in 10 out of 10 would recommend, just because it was a good book. I just didn't love it with my heart and soul. Next book, A Little Life. This book has been everywhere, and I tried reading it a couple weeks ago, I think, and like, I don't know, it's about a bunch of college boys living together, and then them like just talking about their lives and like what happened to them or whatever. I just couldn't get into it, and I might try again just because everyone loves it, but I heard it's really sad, so I'm gonna put it in my TBR. Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This just came out pretty recently, is actually also in my TBR. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Do Over by Lynn Painter, also on my TBR. I have no clue what it's about, but I've been meaning to read it. Let's do all the Lynn Painters actually. Mr. Wrong Number. I read this recently as well. It was cute. I mean, 4 stars, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Actually, you know what? It was okay from what I remember. I didn't, like, I kind of find it cheesy when they, like, text each other going, Miss Misdial, Mr. Wrong Number, like, please. It's just, like, not believable. But, I mean, the relationship was cute. It was giving enemies to lovers, that type of trope. So, yeah, it was enjoyable. And then Better Than the Movies. This was my most recent 5-star book. Like, I'm talking, I started at midnight because I usually read before bed, and I finished this book around 4:40. I posted it on my Instagram story. I was like, I finally found my 5-star book, and this book had me squealing. You know when you're reading a book and you're just like, woo! That's how I felt. So I'm giving that my 5 stars. Eat, Pray, Love that shit. Silent screaming at 4 a.m. because that's what I was doing. That one was really good. So Colleen Hoover. I read pretty much almost all the Colleen Hoover books. I'm not gonna lie, recently, and I mean like a couple years ago, it's what got me back into reading because I was in a reading slump. I used to read so much in high school and in elementary, but with university it kind of stopped. So I picked up Where It Ends With Us, and it got me reading again really quickly. I fell in love with Colleen Hoover, like everybody, and then I kind of grew out of it. All Your Perfects was part of my coho phase, and I remember it being like a 2-star. I see the vision, but I need glasses. Like, it was cute. It was about the married couple, I believe, that like, well, and they're like working through their problems or whatever. But honestly, I couldn't care for them. I read the book, I just couldn't care for them. So yeah, 2 stars for that. Maybe Someday. I remember liking this book more. It was about this girl that got broken up with, and she falls for her neighbor that plays the guitar. I will do It Was Just Okay. Let's do all the Colleen Hoover, kind of get it out of the way. We got Confess. This one I found was better. I would give it It Was Just Okay. You know what? It was better than Maybe Someday. So I'm gonna put Maybe Someday in I See the Vision, but I need glasses, and I'll put Confess in It Was Just Okay. That one was cute. Next book is Ugly Love. Hot take again. I actually really like this book. It got me into reading. So I'm gonna put this in would recommend. I mean, almost everybody and their mom has read Ugly Love or It Ends With Us. So I feel like it's justifiable. I don't know. I liked that book. If I reread it now, I probably would not like it. But you know what? We're gonna go with what I felt in that moment when I read the book. November 9. I liked this book a lot more than Ugly Love. So I'm gonna put them side by side just because I don't think Colleen Hoover has written a book that has truly stolen my heart and soul. Like, it needs to be 5 out of 5. We're gonna leave it at that. I just realized I did not screen record the last few, so this is kind of where we're sitting. Almost there. Whoopsies. It's my first YouTube video, so please bear with me. Okay, and then the last 2, or I guess Verity is also here. Verity was really good. It had a lot of twists and turns. I'm gonna put it at 10 out of 10 would recommend. I really hope they do make a movie out of Verity. Like, not gonna lie, it had me freaking out, and I'm pretty sure I read it in one night. That being said, if I were to read it now, I don't know if I would feel the same way. So yeah, we're gonna put it at 10 out of 10 would recommend. It ends with us. Let's do that. This one, I'm gonna put in it was just okay, because I didn't feel this like how I felt when I read the other Colleen Hoover books. So that one was, I don't know, it was okay. And then the sequel, honestly, this book kind of sucked. But that being said, I did love, I think his name's Atlas. Like, Atlas, like, he was a good character. I'm gonna put it in, okay. I like it more than the first book because I liked Lily and Atlas together, but at the same time, I could have went without having that book, you know? So now we have Six of Crows. I've slowly started to get into fantasy. I've been mainly a romance novel girly, but I've been starting. And Six of Crows is on my TBR. I have all of the books in the series listed. I just haven't started them yet because I'm in my soft girl romance, contemporary romance era. Okay, let's do some Emily Henry. We have 3. I haven't read any Emily Henry, and I feel like everyone's like, you have to, but they are in my TBR. I just haven't gotten to them yet. Typically when I start reading an author, I fixate on them, especially if I really like the book. Like, if I gave, like, same with Lynn Painter, if I gave her a 5-star, there's a hot chance that I'm gonna read the other books that she has out just to see if I like it just as much. So that's usually why my TBR kind of goes everywhere, is just because I want that 5-star feeling every single time. I just kind of fixate on that one author until I get tired of it and I have to go into a new one. Next book is The Hating Game. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna be reading this strictly because I've watched the movie like 3-4 times and I just can't get myself to read the books. Usually if I watch a movie or a show based on that book, I'm not gonna be reading it. This kind of happened with The Idea of You. I loved the movie so much. Like, I am obsessed with that movie. I've seen it 3 times already, but I'm probably not going to read the book. Okay, so next book is My Dark Vanessa, and I'm actually in the middle of reading this book. I'm 89% read, and I actually like it so far. I would recommend, you know, 10 out of 10 would recommend. I like it, and it's kind of hard to read. It has a lot of trigger warnings. There's suicide, there's abuse, all that stuff. But I don't know, there's something about the way it's written where it's like, it kind of pulls you in and you can't stop reading, and you kind of want to figure out why Vanessa is the way she is and how she thinks and why she thinks that way because of what happened to her. So I really like that book, and I'm about to be done reading it. So the next book is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I haven't read this book, and I kind of want to. I mean, I read the first chapter because it was at the very end of like Credence when I read it. I liked it. I mean, it's cute. I think it's like boyfriend's dad or whatever, so it's kind of crazy. But okay, so Punk 57, I will probably read that too, who knows. Credence, I read this book. I think I finished it a couple of days ago, maybe even yesterday, and it's kind of wild, I'm not gonna lie. My boyfriend, I told him what I was reading, and I was like, yeah, this is what it's about. She's like having sex with like her distant family or step family, I guess, and it's kind of fucking wild. But did I like it? I honestly thought it was okay. If you get past the like weird, if you get past the incest parts, like, it's not that bad. But also, I didn't really like Caleb. I didn't really like Noah or Jake. I thought that, I don't know, the characters were okay, but I didn't hate the book. Okay, moving on. The Cruel Prince I haven't read, and it's on my TBR, also loaded in this bad boy. Haven't started it though. Let's do ACOTAR, because it's already here. I'm in the middle of the series. I've read A Court of Thorns and Roses, and honestly, it's going in, it was just okay. It took me, I want to say, a month and a half to finish ACOTAR, and I wasn't pulled in until like the very last 100 pages, just like how all of Sarah J Maas's books are. Like, you don't really get the action until the very end. But it was my airplane read last summer, so yeah. I mean, I kind of hate world building, especially if it like is really slow. So it was kind of hard to like follow, and nothing really happened until the end. So that's why I'm giving it an it was okay. Let's do Mist and Fury. This book, same thing. It was super slow, and then it becomes the slowest burn of your lifetime. Like, I'm talking like no kissing, nothing, any touching really until the very end. So for this slow burn, Court of Mist and Fury, I think I gave it a 4 out of 5, so 10 out of 10 would recommend. It's probably the most favorite of Sarah J Maas that I've read so far. I am currently on Court of Wings and Ruin. I'm not gonna lie, it's taking me forever to get through this book. I think I'm 70% done. I've started reading or listening to it through audiobook while I walk my dog, just because I can't get through this book, and I know, like, I want to do it for the series, you know, but like, it's very slow. So that being said, I'm gonna start putting it at it was okay. Hopefully I finish it by this month so I can talk about it. And these other ones, Silver Flames and Frost and Starlight, are in my TBR. Again, I'm probably gonna do it just for the series, but I'll most likely end up just using an audiobook. I'm kind of taking a break from Sarah J Maas just because I read it for the romances personally, because I'm obsessed with like reading about characters falling in love and all that shit. Like, I'm a softie for that. So when they're together already, I'm kind of just like, what now? Like, what else can you do to like make me feel how I feel? You know, I need to feel my feelings through these books. So when they're together already, I'm kind of like, not for the plot, just for the romance, you know? That's the vibe. The Shatter Me series, I haven't read. It's also on my TBR. Normal People is also on my TBR, and Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Everyone talks about this book, and honestly, I don't know. I keep putting it off. I know I'll like it. I just keep seeing new books. I'm like, ooh, I need to read this first. Okay. So Love on the Brain, I haven't read, but I kind of want to, so I'm going to put that in my TBR. Also by Ali Hazelwood. Everyone kind of dogs on her books, but honestly, like, they're cute. They're like short and sweet, and I kind of like that. So I'm going to put that in, yeah, my TBR. Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Everyone raves about this book, and everyone raves about Madeline Miller. I mean, I get it. She's taking Greek mythology and she's kind of modernizing it in a way that like people start to read about Greek mythology, which is cool. I'm gonna put this in it was okay for the reason that I kind of associate this book with a Greek mythology project I did a couple of years ago. I read the book and compared it to the Iliad, which like doesn't seem that fun, but I mean, the book itself was good. It's just when you kind of overanalyze it, you lose like the feelings you've had about that book. So let's finish Ali Hazelwood. Love Theoretically, haven't read. Check and Mates on my TBR. So I'm going to be getting through those soon. People We Meet on Vacations, also Emily Henry, but I haven't read that, obviously. The Inheritance Game series. I actually really liked this series. The first book was really good for me. 10 out of 10 would recommend. If I'm being honest, I don't remember what the other two books were about, but I did read them, I just don't remember. I'm putting Final Gambit at It Was Okay and Hawthorne Legacy at It Was Okay. Just because I remember really liking that series, but I can only remember the first book. So, and last book is The Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. I think I have a physical copy of this book somewhere, and I didn't really like it. So I'm going to put this in It Was Okay. I just can't remember the plot. But yeah, that is my ranking for BookTok books. I obviously have a lot to read and a lot to catch up on. With school going, it's kind of hard to read all that much, so I'm gonna get the bulk of my reading done this summer, but my goal is to read at least 50 books this year. We'll see how well I do. Thanks guys for watching. Give this video a like if you watched this far and if you want to see more. I love talking about books, so hopefully some of you guys also love it. See you guys in the next video. Bye!